I'm all about that jungle love on Radio Row. Unfortunately, there's not a big abundance of it here, so I got to go elsewhere to get it. Tony Bruno, the whole gang here. Miss Robin, Luigi's, Jax, and of course, only the biggest names sit down on this set. And then we have Craig Gass, who joins us every year on the set. Comedian, actor, voice of the fan, raconteur, bon vivant. I don't know what else. An impressionist, I believe.
Sure. I'm here with Tracy Morgan.
What's up, white people? That's crazy.
Get somebody pregnant.
I'm gonna put a baby in your butt. That's crazy.
That's Tracy Morgan every weekend at a comedy club.
I'm gonna put a baby in your butt.
Can I tell you an uncensored Tracy Morgan? Can I
Absolutely.
Okay, we're going to do the brackets thing. This is in between the brackets, so it's okay.
Okay.
Yeah, because he's actually quoting another comedian who actually uses this material. This is not Craig Gass's actual material, nor will he ever do that of his own accord.
I was doing a show. I was opening for Dave Chappelle at Caroline's in 2001. This agent walked up to me. He's really nervous, and he said, "Did you hear about that party last weekend?" I said, "Did I hear about what?" And he goes, "You heard about that party last weekend?" I said, "What party?" And he goes, "Tracy Morgan had a party that turned into a fucking orgy." And I said, "What?" He goes, "Turned into an orgy. We're standing around with our suits on, and there's naked people doing it. And then Tracy Morgan comes around the corner, takes all his clothes. He starts doing it. I go, "What? Get out of here." And he said, "I just saw it." Like, right at that moment, Tracy Morgan walks around the corner. I haven't seen Tracy in probably a year. And I go, "Tracy, I heard your party was messed up, man." Tracy rolled over, and he just eyeballed me, and he went,
It was crazy. It was crazy. You know what's crazy about it, Craig? When you get off on my floor, you don't even hear nothing. You don't hear nothing at all. Then you start walking towards my apartment, and you still don't hear nothing. Then you knock on my door, and you still don't hear nothing, right? But when I open the door, there's buttholes and toes everywhere.
and I went,
Buttholes and toes? And he said, yeah, some of them toes were in the buttholes.
and he walked out of the room, and I went, "Wow, that is the most magical story I'll ever hear."
Wow.
So, yeah.
I'm trying to visualize that now. Actually, buttholes and toes. I can't even say it. Buttholes and toes are appearing tonight, right down the street in Centennial Olympic Park.
Amazing.
I mean, out of all the body parts, those two would not be the ones that I would necessarily think of first.
Buttholes and toes. And yes, when you say some of the toes were in the buttholes, that immediately strikes a funny visual. But
Yes, it does.
yeah.
Craig Gass, ladies and gentlemen, leave the last S on for savings.
Yeah, and I was telling you before we started that every year I come to the Super Bowl, and every year I get in trouble with the same celebrity, which really bums me out because I'm a fan of his.
And I'm a fan and a friend of his.
And it'll happen at the beginning of the week. I started out in radio, in morning radio, so when I come here every week on Monday and Tuesday when it's slow, my radio buddies will say, "Hey, can you join us as somebody famous so that we can sound cool back in Anchorage or Des Moines or whatever?" And I'll go, "Yeah." And the closest sports personality I can do is Tom Arnold, who used to host Best Damn Sports Show.
Yes, I was
period.
on there with him.
And I'll get on the show, and I'll go, they'll go, "Hey, we're being joined by Tom Arnold now from the Super Bowl." "Yeah, guys, it's pretty exciting. We're here
So freaky.
at the Super Bowl, and man, you know, there's lots of celebrities coming to town. I was actually at a Cocaine Anonymous meeting last night with Brett Favre. I probably shouldn't say this out loud. Brett's got a bad coke problem, and his sponsor is Bob Costas. Man, that guy is addicted to upskirt porn. But again, I shouldn't say that out loud. But anyway, so and then I'll just start naming any celebrity I can think of, any athlete I can think of, attach them to an addiction, and say I ran into this guy at a meeting. I ran into I ran into Tony Romo. His sponsor is the Eagles. Just the whole band is the sponsor, and every year people will tweet at Tom Arnold and say, "Hey, a-hole, it's supposed to be anonymous. You're not supposed to say that out loud." And Tom Arnold will tweet people, go, "Hey, did you notice that Sam Kinison was on the air too? That guy's been dead for 20 years, you idiot. That's a comedian doing an impression. That wasn't me." And he gets really mad, and I
It's
feel
dead
bad.
on, though, man. I've heard Tom Arnold impersonations in my day. I've never heard
it
a
is
more dead-on Tom Arnold
So
impersonation.
incredibly freaky. Like, it's like he's here.
Since I know him so well, and I've had those same conversations with him many, many times, It was scary good.
Yeah.
Scary good.
Well, then I'll always throw in something that sounds like it's real and say, it was. I don't know if you guys know, but I was famous in the '90s. I was married to a big bitch of a woman named Roseanne, and she actually got me addicted to heroin. I probably should say that. You're not supposed to blame people for your addictions. But let me ask you a question: you ever made love to somebody who was 450 pounds? That's a lot of pressure on your area, and you need pain relief. Next thing you know, you're addicted to heroin. And that's how you become addicted to heroin. And people, it sounds believable to people that Tom Arnold would say that. And and then I'll come on as, then, hey, look, I'm here with Tracy Morgan. Then Tracy jumps in, and here's Adam Sandler. I like the shippy dooby doo. And it sounds like a full slate of guests broadcasting from the Super Bowl, and it's fun.
It is because you got the big names come through, but you're right. Monday and Tuesday, it's normally radio people interviewing other radio people just to fill time because they can't ad lib or do any other stories that are related to something that would be relevant in their lives.
And then the end of the week is the opposite problem. Everybody's trying to get a minute with the huge names that are just flowing everywhere here on Friday. So it goes from really slow to trying to keep up at the end of the week.
Having people wind you up. But one of the advantages I have, because I've been doing this so long, 40 years, when I get the big guys to come over, they know me. And so I have their handlers standing over and saying, looking at the clock, I'm like, dude, really? Yeah. And then Michael Irvin's here and his people are with him. And then Michael didn't want to stop talking either, even though they were telling him to get out because I've known him so long. But I'm respectful of that. I mean, if he has another interview, but he didn't have another interview in this area, so they wanted to get him out before everybody else descended upon him like sharks.
Yeah. Do you remember? I don't know what city it was in. Do you remember when Snoop Dogg showed up to the? It was a few years ago. I don't know.
It was in Houston. He was at the Super Bowl in Houston because he was performing at the Madden Bowl.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and so he was all over Houston.
Yeah. So he shows up at the media center, and he had a bodyguard, 2 bodyguards with him that were shoving people, physically assaulting people as he was walking through the media center. I remember that thinking, like, wow, that's kind of intense.
We missed that.
Yeah, his security guys were taking it a little over the line. Yeah, a little too serious, a little over the line. And then there's been those years where Adam Sandler shows up with Chris Rock and Rob Schneider and Kevin James to promote those movies they did.
Right. And
that was amazing. And Sandler would sit down at every table. He spent 2 full days doing every table.
Well, he was trying to justify the $20 million movies that he made that made $10 later in his career, unfortunately.
Well, I do think it changed slightly. The dynamics have changed when they allowed fans to come into the Radio Row area.
Well, it's just they pass through. It's cordoned off, but the NFL experience, they make this part of the NFL experience where fans can come through. But I haven't really seen that many
fans.
No, not yet.
But it's my understanding you can't actually get in here just for going to the NFL experience. You have to have some kind of a gold ticket that you pay for. Right? You pay more. You pay an upcharge.
Pay more. Right. It's not everybody. There's some kind
Willy
of
Wonka's outside and he's wonking it, and then you get a ticket and you come in and then boom, as John Madden used to say.
San Francisco was nuts.
Because it was where they allowed the most fans in. I don't know if they had a 2-tiered package, but if they did,
Arizona and San
bought.
Francisco, 49 and 50. Arizona and San Francisco was just overrun with fans, and
not that there's anything wrong with that, by the way, because we all love fans.
But it drove a lot of the bigger names away because they couldn't get in and out smoothly into the place because it was clusters of fans out there.
So for example, right now there's one athlete, I couldn't see him, but it was an athlete coming in, and there's like 50 fans chasing him with footballs. I thought Jack was over there, but he didn't get a chance to get over there with his ball to get signed.
You know who lives here that I've strangely become friends with is Shaquille O'Neal. And
he lives in Atlanta. I know that. I thought you meant here on Radio Row.
If you get here early enough, you'll see Shaq walking around brushing his teeth in a bathrobe. He lives here in Atlanta,
right?
And he has a podcast that he does out of Atlanta
with my buddy John Kincaid, who's here in Atlanta.
John Kincaid, and I've done the show a few times, and him and I became friends. We exchanged phone numbers. Every time I text him, he texts me right back, and I am obsessed with what it's like to be Shaquille O'Neal. And by the way, the first time he loved my first appearance on his show so much where I prank called him as a bunch of different celebrities that he bought me a plane ticket to come to Atlanta so we could meet face to face.
No way, really? Wow, that's a great story.
It was unbelievable. And when I got in, I said to him, "Oh man, Shaq, this is so crazy that I've been looking so forward to hanging out with you. And I got to tell you, something crazy happened to me last week. I was performing at the Comedy Store, and Adam Sandler walked in, and he did a joke about you. And I thought, oh, man, that's crazy. I'm actually going to work with Shaq next week. And Shaquille looked at me and went, what's the joke? And I went, oh, I shouldn't. I mean, it's not my joke. And he said, what's the joke? And I said, well, according to Adam, apparently he gave you a role in the movie Grown Ups 2. I didn't know that. And Shaq has a cameo in there. They filmed that cameo at a college campus. There was a break in filming where somebody said, hey, we're going to take a break for 2 hours. And Shaquille O'Neal announced, I'm going to go take a shower. Because there were some dorms right down the hill. And Adam Sandler tells the story and says, and when Shaq said, I'm going to go take a shower, I said, oh, man, this is my opportunity. I'm finally going to get to see what Shaq's penis looks like. And it's not gay. It's not gay. I just want to be able to tell my kids, hey, your dad saw something amazing once, that's and so he describes this story about how he goes down to the showers and he hears the shower is on and he tries to peek around the corner to get a look at Shaq, and Shaq's bodyguard pops up. And Shaq's bodyguard's even bigger than Shaq, big bald guy, and he's staring at him, and he goes, oh, man, I'm sorry. And then he walks away, and he realizes, oh, man, I just got busted. Now I got to explain to Shaquille O'Neal why I walked in the shower in there. Shaq gets out to the set, and he goes, hey, listen, I'm sorry. I saw, I tried to get a look at you, and I know your bodyguard probably told you. And he said, I don't have a bodyguard. I go, yeah, the big bald guy. And he goes, no, that was my penis.
Oh.
Yeah, it was terrible. It was terrible. It was terrible. But, yeah.
There you go.
But he loved it. He has a great sense of humor. I love that dude, and I'm just every time I see him, if there's a break in recording, I just want to ask him questions about what it's like to be Shaq. I remember asking him, "What's the dumbest question anybody has ever asked you about yourself?" And he said, "Am I Shaquille O'Neal?" And I said, "Really? People ask you? What do you tell him?" He said, "Nope." And I said, "You're 8 feet tall, and you're gonna tell people you're not Shaquille O'Neal?" And he goes, "I tell him nope." I said, what do you tell him your name is? And he said, Tony. But I get that a lot. I get Shaquille O'Neal a lot. And it's like, that's obnoxious. Also, Shaquille O'Neal buys lottery tickets.
Yeah, because he needs the money.
Every week he buys lottery tickets. And I remember saying to him, do you know how furious people would be if Shaquille O'Neal hit the lottery? And he said, can't win if you don't play. And I'm like, all right, I can't argue that. But.
Well, who was it? It was Sly Stallone's mom who hit the lottery. Was it? Yeah, remember she hit the lottery in Atlantic? Not lottery, a slot machine. What's the matter, Robin?
Oh, her mic's not on.
She hit a slot machine for millions of dollars, a couple of $1 million.
Yeah, I think so.
And then she went back the next day and played again.
No.
If you're going to win multi-millions on a slot machine,
that's when you
stop. Are you going to go back the next day?
Yeah. That's when you stop.
Well, if you're on a winning streak, then
no, that doesn't happen. You just walk away.
But you know what? The mentality of whatever gets you into that spot where you play enough, where you hit a jackpot like that, I think that's just your mentality, and you just think, I've had moments where I've had a good night gambling, and I thought, oh, this is awesome, and then I try to go back in, and I just get my ass handed to me.
No, when I play a dollar slot, and I win $1,000, which is rare, but I had a streak a couple of years ago. I'd go in and I'd play a little bit, win $1,000, cash out, boom, give me my voucher, gone. And then I go back next week, win another $1,000 on the same machine, boom, cash out.
Wow.
So I had like $3,000 of winnings because I had to play some and lose some, so I wasn't winning $1,000.
Yeah.
And then I stopped, and I didn't play a slot machine for a year after that. Wow. And I haven't played a slot machine for years except the dumb ones on the
ever since
online.
he met me, I'm the mush. He's not winning anything.
She is the
anymore.
mush.
I am.
She's the mush, and I have to put her in the bathroom and leave her in there.
I had an ex that we got in a big fight about gambling once. I had a really, really good night of gambling, and I won an insane amount of money.
Over $1,000, can we say?
It was well over $1,000. I won over $30,000.
Dude,
playing blackjack.
I would have retired then, right then and there.
She's sitting next to me when I first start playing, and when I lose, she starts going, "Ooh!" And I go, "Get the hell out of here! You can't. Ooh, you can't. I'm playing. I'm going to lose some. I'm going to win some." And I said, "Look, just go for a walk." She goes for a walk, and I said, "If I lose more than 2 hands in a row, I'll come get you." And I went on a winning streak that was crazy. I ended up winning over $30,000, and I go and I find her. And I walk around a corner, I see her, and she comes up to me, and I go, "Babe, you're not going to lose. I just went over $33,000. And listen, we're about to have the greatest night ever, but I can't cash it all in at once. I have to do it a little bit of time. I'm going to give you $3,000. I'm going to take $3,000. She lifts her hands in the air and she goes, I don't want to get involved in anything illegal. And I go, what are you doing? I go, babe, every camera in this room is looking at me right now. I just won $33,000. Put your hands on. She goes, I just don't want to be involved in anything. And I go, you're not. I go, babe, please. Put your hands down.
Be chill.
This is not illegal. I just don't want to turn it all in at once because I'm going to have to fill out a thing for the IRS. And she goes, all I want is just to have some coffee. And I said, we can have $33,000 worth of coffee if you just shut up like that. And she made such a scene that by the time we got to the cashier, she had a couple grand that she tried to turn in. And there was several people waiting for us at the cashier. And they said, can we see some ID, please? And she went, they want my ID. And I go, yeah, you're waving your hands around like I just robbed the casino. Jeez. Of course they're going to ask you for it. Like, yeah.
It's an outrage.
So.
Okay, well.
That's why you should never get
This
married.
just popped up on my alarm.
What does it say? Buy a lottery ticket?
Literally just popped up on my
I'm going to call Shaq and have him get me one while he's out tonight when I'm sleeping.
He'll get it.
He'll get it for me.
All right, my headphones just popped up, so I'm not hearing you guys anymore. But, yeah, I don't know where I
Oh,
plugged
that's
back
okay.
in.
You don't have to hear me.
But
I got you perfect
I'm
sound
still
here.
talking.
Yeah.
So
Last thing, because I know you got to run and do other stuff. You're in town. You're every Super Bowl. You're doing a lot of interviews, and you ask a lot of dumb questions, which is your job.
Yep.
But then again, the real media asks a lot of dumb questions too. So you've been following Tom Brady and the Patriots, and Tom Brady and you have a bond now, right?
Yeah, because every year I see him, I've started asking him a simple thing. Like, all I want to talk to him about is how handsome he is. Like, a couple years ago, I just started asking him, like, Tom, is it cool to just be that handsome? Like, when you look in the mirror, does your reflection ever just wink at you? Like, is it that awesome? Like, I would imagine it's got to be pretty cool. And then 2 years ago, I started doing this thing where I said, hey, Tom, my name's Craig Gass. I'm a stand-up comedian. This is my friend Aaron, and that's my friend Jason. We were discussing the four of us together, and we were doing a ranking of the four of us from most handsome to least handsome. Obviously, you're number one because you're Tom Brady. But who would you rank as number two? And I pointed at myself. Number three and number four. And Tom actually went, wait, who am I ranking? And I go, me and that guy and that guy. And he goes, all right, fan out. And he made us all spread out in a formation. And without doing it consciously, I was pushing my chin out to look more handsome to Tom. And he gave us a ranking. And then last year, I'm sucking in my gut. And last year I said, hey, Tom, I don't know if you remember, but, you ranked us. And he goes, yeah, I remember. And I go, well, we've been fighting about our rankings, and in the last year, we've lost about between the three of us, we've lost about 4 pounds, and so we've been fighting.
4 whole pounds.
Yeah, and so we want to know if the rankings have changed, and this year I asked him a question that I thought was a softball, and he answered it way too seriously. I just put the video out just today. I'll send you the video to post on. I got a lot of great stuff, but the thing I did with Tom Brady is I just asked him, Tom, are you attempting to be the first quarterback in the history of the NFL to ever play in the Super Bowl against his own son? And he looked at me and said, that would be beautiful. And I went, that's not the reaction I want. I wanted to laugh. I wanted to, it's a silly, stupid question. But I got some great stuff from Ndamukong Suh, from Jared Goff, from Todd Gurley, who, he's 24. I think we should be calling him Todd Womanly now. But
have you ever met Tom Brady's brother, who is also incredibly handsome?
I didn't. This is the first I'm hearing that he had a brother. Is that true?
Well, people keep saying he doesn't, but this guy we run into, because the Patriots are in the Super Bowl every year, says he's a brother that is not acknowledged.
Well, I don't think it's not acknowledged. I think he might be a half-brother.
Okay.
But he's very handsome, looks very much like Brady.
Okay.
And I believe, if I am correct, he actually owns a restaurant or something in Phoenix.
I don't know.
Wow, that's the first I've heard of that. I didn't know that.
Yes.
No, I have not met him. I know that the last couple years the Patriots were in the Super Bowl. At Media Day, I've seen a guy walking around with a Tom Brady mask. I didn't see the Tom Brady mask yesterday.
Oh,
But,
maybe that's his brother.
But it is a fun thing. Are you guys going to attempt to go to the game? Do you leave?
No, I never go to the game.
never
I
go
don't.
to the
No, I stay in town and watch it.
So
Last
even-
year I hosted a party because it was a Philly thing.
Yeah, I was going to say, with
And
the
I-
Eagles.
Yeah, but this year, every Tom, Dick, and Harry has a Super Bowl party, so why would they wouldn't give me one.
Right.
But because I was a Philly guy and there were a lot of Philly fans who didn't have tickets, we found a bar and we had a great party, and it was a lot of fun watching
Awesome.
watching the fans watch the game and watch us all celebrate something we've never seen before, a Super Bowl championship. So that was cool. And you're doing comedy here at the Punchline Atlanta.
Yeah, at the Punchline this week, and then I'm hanging out for the weekend and just going to parties. So thank you for having me on again. It's always fun to check in with you guys.
That's Craig Gass, Gass. Leave the last S on.
And you can see the Super Bowl videos that I put together.
Where do you go?
Just go to Craig Gass Comedy, at Craig Gass Comedy, and you'll see the links. Craig Gass with 2 S's, at Craig Gass Comedy, and you'll see the links for the Super Bowl videos.
Well, we got to run because they're handing out free Hormel chili right now.
Sweet.
And you know media people, if it's free,
Oh, yeah.
it's me.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you, Craig.
All right, I'll see you guys.
See you, man. Thanks.
Thank
you.
you.